It's an impressive sight.
Roger, welcome.
A Black Hawk helicopter swooping in to scoop up a bucket of water and transforming into an aerial fire truck. But even more impressive is the man on the ground telling it where to go.
He needs to come farther west.
Stand by.
George Blackburn,
Keystone Lunar 68. You need to come further west.
chief of the Keystone Fire Department,
He'll start fighting fire next to him.
and an army of volunteer firefighters.
I don't know where you put the value of these people.
Copy that.
People who have been out here so long, their minds are as hazy as the tree line.
Not too sure what day it is now. Been out here no sleep.
That's Bill. He's been up since 4 a.m. yesterday. Out in the woods, hosing down flames. Tomorrow he's due back at work, he thinks.
It is Thursday, right?
He's still northeast from me.
That's Thomas Jeffers climbing in the cab of a water truck. Normally he drives a dump truck for a living. Out near a house where homeowners had pulled out a hose as the last line of defense. What's your day job?
My day job? I go to school and I take care of my son.
Dustin, getting ready for an April shower.
Big chopper.
The camera needed cleaning anyway. Down the road,
I call my boss and ask him, say, do you need me today or can you get by without me?
fortunately, Leroy's boss could make do, since no sooner did a tanker truck arrive and Leroy's services were needed. Unless you think this is all men.
Thanks, Leslie.
Leslie's camera shy, but not afraid of the fire line.
She's in school, along with all that, she's in school to go from an LPN up to an RN. That's the life of a volunteer firefighter.
A department where even the chief is out here on his own dime.
No pay. No pay.
Most of the time out here, where the red dirt bluffs jut out of nothingness, the only sound, if any at all, is the rush of a windmill. But once a year, the cows pick up a faint something in the distance that rings familiar, like their own personal theme song. It's the annual cow chip competition in the town of Beaver.
A little history.
History, yes. Well, apparently having a big beaver as a town mascot, and it's clearly labeled on the back, Big Beaver, wasn't enough to set the town apart.
This is Mr. Rector.
A town forefather who came up with the idea of seeing who could chuck a cow chip the farthest, way back in...
When did they start the cow chip?
1970.
70. Okay.
The competition was unique enough to attract national attention.
Mr. Rector managed to get himself on the Johnny Carson show. I think just made it take off.
All right, I guess we're ready to roll.
The popularity soared like a well-thrown cow chip. And they're thrown in a variety of ways. There's the tomahawk toss, the frisbee throw, and the throw it like a girl throw. But hold on a second. Before we get to the big show, there's the big parade.
Candy!
Where tots like Braxton
2 of them, get them!
scramble for goodies as floats of feces pass majestically by, including the Got Poop outhouse float and the poop-covered car with ornamental flies. It wasn't working, so they just threw it up on a trailer. Not to be outdone, the horses also left their poop.
Why am I the one going through these?
But when compared to the size of the cow poop in the wagon...
They're so huge this year.
I mean, come on, this is professional poop.
We've got some pretty healthy cows out there this year.
A little too healthy, actually, because the secret to a good toss is a small poop. The minimum diameter of a chip is 6 inches, but these monsters...
There's none of those over there that are good chips this year. They're all just way too big.
Well, not all of them.
Come on, John.
That's James Pratt, fire chief in Beaver and 10-time winner of the competition.
71-8.
Out there marking them where folks get up to throw their hubcaps. But when it was his turn to throw, he went to his truck and pulled out some very modestly sized chips.
They come out of there.
Hey, no reason to get defensive. It's not like people take this seriously.
It's a family thing for me and my dad.
Well, except maybe Terry, who's James's daughter and happens to be the female champion.
Do you say anything to yourself?
I just hope I win.
This is the Nebraska State Champion.
And you better believe this guy wants to win.
He's like the best in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But for every state champ, there's also a Shirley Denoyer.
I come south of Chicago.
She's here for family to see her son. Her throws lasting a fraction of the 14 hours it took her to get here.
Good job, Miss Denoyer.
I get on the train and I ride all night long and oh my God.
And thus is the allure of the mighty cow chip competition, a feat for which a song was written, its verse going quite nicely with an underbelly of marching band.
When you come to be our guest here in Beaver for a part of this wonderful day, we sure hope you become a believer and decide in your heart you will stay.
In Beaver, Bert Mumolo, News Channel 8.
Ladies and gentlemen,
At historic Cain's Ballroom,
are we excited?
home of Bob Wills,
Are we gonna win?
the manly smiles of Tex Williams, Roy Rogers, and Gene Autry have seen a lot of things over the years.
Are we gonna play bingo?
And now, they've seen it all.
I want to welcome all of you to our 7th annual Drag Queen Bingo. Yes, G49.
Every bit of the spectacle that you would expect it to be. Of dancing and dollars dangling and jealous divas.
Whoever got the laser hair removal from BA Med Spa, I will be hunting you down. Okay?
By its nature, this is a subculture of superficiality, of behold my flamboyance.
072, B2, 075.
But what's really a sight is what's on the inside.
I was told I wouldn't survive, that I was going to die.
For the past 20 years, Chris Cole has been living with HIV and AIDS, at one point nearly dying.
And the doctor walked in and she said, I really don't think you're going to make it. Is there people I can call?
Instead, he'd make a call of his own to someone who's seen him in all his glory and all his guyness. He would ask God that if he helped him make it, he would help others.
Anyone that has a need can come there.
Our House 2, a safe haven for people living with HIV and AIDS. Currently helping 80 people and
at one point there was a bathroom. We needed some work done.
Needing a little help itself.
We're doing a renovation project on the house.
Who's gonna win this time?
Which is where the money from tonight's bingo is going. Raised from an audience of both enthusiasm and experience. Something Sheila has both of.
When we went to pick him up, we thought he had flu.
Her son Rob died from AIDS in 1991. In the years leading up to it, back then the disease was so new and foreign that even treatment in a hospital felt as jarring and unsettling as a bingo ball being churned in a hopper.
They wouldn't bring his food in. They'd leave it on a tray outside the door at the hospital. Everything was marked with red bags and red flags. We were hidden on the cancer floor.
Ostracized, outcast, shunned.
Don't be afraid of us.
Chris knows what that's like.
That's the worst kind of pink slip you can get. Far worse than finding out you're positive is for everybody to turn against you.
And with that, you can see right through all that makeup and glitz and glamour. That's figuratively speaking, of course. I mean, this is Drag Queen Bingo.
Drag Queen Bingo was hilarious.
That's Rob's dad. Not all dolled up. Straight-laced as apple pie.
G58!
But don't let that throw you off. Because as conservative as he looks, he's embraced people like Chris after being embraced in the isolation of dealing with AIDS.
They accepted us. They loved us. They hugged us. They kissed us. They made us feel like they really liked us.
He calls it a family of choice. of people who have seen straight to the core of what this life is really about. Even if what's on the outside can be a little confusing to the uninitiated.
It takes all of us to make this community better.
Burt Mumolo, Tulsa's Channel 8.